SilverStone SG13. This is part 3 and my final thoughts and why I chose the components, and I also want you to leave comments down below, literally down below, because I want to know if anyone else has got a SilverStone SG13, had any problems, stresses, or they found it easy, or they using it because they want to use it as a light sort of home entertainment computer, or they crammed it like I did. Well, this is the final cinematic sort of video. It's going to have cinematics of like the actual case and why it was wrapped and everything like that, and all my thoughts. And you need to stick around to find out more. But before you do that, check out part 1 here and part 2 there.
Tasting the soul from their cheeks, to find out how deep all their feelings. Tasting the soul from their cheeks, to find out how deep, how deep, how deep.
Where do I start? Well, we're finally at the last stage of the whole build, and obviously it's wrapped and it looks nice, and you've been with me from the part 1 to part 2. Well, let's start off with why I got it wrapped. I love cars, and I love the way cars are. You can customize cars and make them look so nice and to how you want it to be customized, just like computer components and all that sort of stuff. You can make a computer actually look like a car or a clock or something like that. You can make it look like loads of different stuff, but I wanted to be a little bit different, and I wanted to have something that's really small, like a small form factor computer that was wrapped and it looked the actual business. So I got SilverStone's case wrapped in a metallic sort of silver wrap and had the writing done as well, which just says SilverStone with the little icicle on the side there. Believe me, I had to pay someone to cut these holes out, because these holes took about 3 days and a few hours to cut out, and it was such a mission. To be honest with you, we had like a little blade, as you see, but everything in that video was cut short. In this video, you can obviously hear me explaining how long it actually took. The wrap took around 2.5 hours to do, and then we got a machine to cut out the actual SilverStone logo, and we had to vectorize it because we couldn't find the logo online. So it had to be vectorized before it can actually go into the machine, because it would have looked really rubbish otherwise. So got all the holes cut out on this side, all the holes cut out that side, all the holes cut out that side, and we couldn't just leave it blocked up because obviously the computer needs to breathe. So that's the wrapping sort of talking about. That was just a mission. Not SilverStone. Signtech are the ones that actually gave me the idea to go with a metallic silver. They said about the carbon, everyone's done a carbon and this and that. So I went with a metallic, and basically they said, why don't you go with the carbon on the front, as it looks good with the silver. So we took a bit of planning to do all this sort of stuff, and we got it done. And when they actually done it, they even done the button for me as well. They done the button right there. So I took the button, the whole case apart, took the button out, and they wrapped that as well. So that's all they wrapped of the actual case, but you can see where I was going with it. It took a very long time to do. Now on the top, they're solid state hard drives. It's got two 512 Toshiba hard drives in there, and they're really fast. I love them. They are really quick and everything like that. But also, there's an Intel 120 gig hard drive, which is my boot hard drive, and it's at the bottom of the graphics card. And at the bottom of that motherboard, which is an Asrock Z97i, which has got AC Wi-Fi in there. Basically, I thought I've got to go ahead with this with a small form factor computer. I'm going to see how much I can load in there. So I also went with the GTX 970 because the heat consumption in there was okay. The fans rotate when it gets hot, and when it's not hot it keeps cooled down. Now I use this for gaming, and I've used this for video editing, extreme rendering and video production and stuff like that, and a bit of animation. The computer holds its own, but it gets hot, but it dissipates heat very good. As you can see in the smoke machine test, you can see that the smoke is dissipating from all angles. The graphics card is dissipating smoke. Another thing as well, power supply on top, I turned it around, which I thought was the right way, to dissipate heat at the top, because heat rises rather than having the heat distributing and blowing onto the motherboard, and the RAM and everything like that would all start to heat up, which means it'll start to bottleneck and start to slow down a bit because it has to be cooler. So I made sure that I kind of customized this chassis as I could, and I completely done things totally different. So obviously at the back we can dissipate heat, and at the top we can dissipate heat. The cable management was an absolute nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. In fact, I had to redo this computer about 5 or 6 times, because when you put something in like the USB, the motherboard, the USB came out, which is the front header and the front head for the USB 3. That came out. You had to take the whole thing apart. Then I couldn't get the cables in there because it was so tight to get in there. I had to make sure I didn't break like the cables, which were the SATA cables for the solid state hard drive. Make sure I didn't break that. There was loads of things like the cable to the header to turn the power button on. I had to make sure I didn't break that. So I had plenty of problems for this actual whole build, but I wanted to do it and see if I was worthy of doing this. Obviously it's got a CPU in there, which is a 4970K in there, and it's like top of the range for the Z97 motherboard. Basically it is a bit of a beast. It really is a beast. It has had no problems with heat or anything like that. I think I've done everything right. Oh, also I forgot to say that it's water cooled as well. So it's got a Corsair in there, and that is a H55 radiator in there, and pump and reservoirs all in there, all in one. It had to be water cooled because a fan assisted one, I think it would have been very awkward to try and get the CPU like cooler with the actual power supply on top. It would have been too much of a mission, too much of a mare. And the dust on it it's not too bad. I've been running it for about a month, and what you can see on the side here, that's as much dust as it's got, so it's not too much. And the cable management is the best that I could do, was that sort of like look, and I really do truly love it. It has got customized cables in there and stuff like that to go with the whole build. It's got like 2 USB 2s, function for keyboard and mouse obviously, because this is a Z97i I'm talking about. It's got 4 USB Blues, so it's up to 5 gigabits per second transfer speed. It's got like display port, HDMI twice, DVI out, AC comes with the motherboard as well, and it's got like 7.1 surround sound, optical out, gigabit Ethernet port, and I could put in, well, I think I've literally filled it to the brim. I can't really fill it up any more than that. I could have gone like what Linus Tech done. Basically, he put a Titan in there in his computer case. I put a GTX 970 in because I wanted to keep it as real world results. But I really don't know how he even got that graphics card in there, because technically I only just about got everything in here. I've got of course the AX 860 watt digital power modular, fully modular power supply in there, and everything was just crazy. I don't even realise how I got it all in there, you know, it's crazy. But that's the history of why I've done it anyway, and I want to continue making computers like this with custom wraps and maybe spray painting them, or I don't know, cutting them out and just customizing it completely. But yeah, I am proper like doing fully modular and fully sort of graphics and all kinds of stuff I like doing. I've got another video coming out which is Antec P50 case, and that one is wrapped as well, and I'm going to probably do most of my cases all wrapped because I just think it just looks so much custom. I really don't like how the SilverStone case looked. It looked too cheap to me, so I made it look a little bit more snazzier. And to be honest with you, it just shows that you can build, like, you can get the case wrapped or spray paint or whatever, and you can get it to match your bedroom or your living room or wherever you are situated and you do your work or gaming. You could have the whole thing customized. I could have put a few lights in there, the LEDs would have come through here and stuff like that, but I didn't bother. I just kept it like that. I wanted to keep the heat down, and it's magical. It really is powerful as anything else, and it's not too hot to touch or anything like that. It's perfect. But yeah, it was really hard work doing all of this. The guy that was actually doing it, which was a Signtech, basically customized designer, it took hours. It really did take hours, and then I had to pay someone to cut them holes out because that took so many days. And it wasn't the fact that you can just put a pen in there and it'll work. If you put a pen in there, it will actually expand and take off the glue that was situated onto the actual metal, because it's not the best sort of metal. This sort of wrap is actually used for cars, but I wanted to try and bend the rules a bit and see if I can get away with it, and yeah, we've managed to do it. And as looking at the whole computer, it looks like a little engine. It really does, and I'm just so impressed with it. Obviously, if I want to take a hard drive out or I want to get to the motherboard, I have to literally take this whole computer apart. So it does take a long time. But if you like these sort of videos and everything like that, and you want to see more of them, so I'm going to leave a link in the description down below where you can get all these components that I've put in here. They're all great components. I don't really normally do videos of like stuff that I wouldn't really buy myself. This is all stuff that I'd really use, and I'd use for video production, animation, motion graphics, all that sort of stuff. I would make sure that I've got a computer that's worthy. Now this is only a Z97 and it's such a small mini ITX motherboard, and it had enough power just to do what I wanted to do. Now if I wanted to do extreme stuff, I use my workstation computer, which is an X99 motherboard with like 64 gig of RAM and stuff like that. That's just a beast. That's got terabytes of solid states, and it's just a beast. This is a mini beast, and this will do for most people, and it will smash marks and stuff like that. And obviously I can take the graphics card out, or I can change the memory and stuff like that. So I'm going to say what I actually come to say as well. Like the solid state hard drives, I use 512s because basically if I wanted a terabyte, I could have a terabyte in just using to offload as video editing one for gaming, or I can put them in RAID 0. So I've got that sort of future proof right there if I want to offload it and make it as future proof as I can as RAID 0 and have sick redundant speed. Or I can update, what did I go with? I went with Kingston HyperX Savage, I think I went with, and I went with 2400 megahertz RAM. I think that's sort of the maximum I can go on that motherboard, but you can obviously overclock it, and I've got the 4970K processor. I can overclock that if I really wanted to. At the moment I don't really need to overclock it, and plus it kind of shortens the life of your processor and everything else. Power supply, I went with the 86i fully modular, because if I didn't go with fully modular, I don't think this would have been built right now. It would have been too much of a mission. I could have gone with a 750 watt, but I went with 86i just so I could have it a little bit more future proof, or last a little bit longer. And I went with custom cables because I wanted to show that off in a video, that you can use custom cables just to make it look better. Well, so I went with a GTX 970 because I can use what's it called, I can use not 4K but just under 4K, but over 2.5K, you know. So I just wanted something that was better than 1080p, but I can still game in 1080p, but I can game with ultra settings as well. So I went with like high definition, but ultimate high definition, but not 4K, if you know what I mean. So I've got everything here, and I can run like 4 screens off of it, and it will run no problem. No problem with games or anything like that. And what else did I use in here? I can't remember what else I even used in here, but basically I think that's kind of it of the whole video, and basically I'm really happy with it and stuff like that, and I know that it will last quite a long time, and if I want to upgrade it I can upgrade it, or I can downgrade it, whatever, but it's here. And the way that it looks like a little miniature engine lump. It just looks full to the brim and it looks proper nice. So that's my review on this, and nothing really more else to say, but I'm going to be making more future videos. And don't forget that the Antec P50 is one of the videos might be up now, but there's going to be part 2, and that's going to be wrapped, and it's slightly a bit more bigger than this, but it works with a mini ITX motherboard as well. And yeah, that's the sort of videos I am heading down towards. I just want to make something that's customized and different. That's what MXDOUT was all about, to be honest with you. And generally nothing more really to say about this other than Asrock, thanks for giving me the motherboard as well and helping with this production, and SilverStone and everyone else whoever helped in there. And this is what I've come up with. I come up with this. This is like the final edition. So don't forget, if you thought this video is helpful, you can use it as kind of a guide. You don't have to use it exactly like a guide, but you can do. And if you need any help or anything like that, don't forget you can reach me down below with the comments and tell me what you might need help with. I'll be able to help you. And don't forget, whoever's got this SilverStone SG13 case, also to get involved and leave your comments down below and tell me if you found this was a breeze to build or not a breeze to build. I have got another video with a case exactly the same as this, but just a little bit more on the budgeting side, and all it's got is like a motherboard, no graphics card. It's got onboard graphics and like one solid state hard drive. It's like really small, just something really quick. I have got one of them that I've done before, so I thought I'd do a really crazy build, a bit like Linus Tech Tips. And yeah, that's all I can say. So if you thought this video was helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, share around to everyone. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.